Hi, in this video we want to find the x and y intercepts of a quadratic graph where we have some quadratic expression here. Remember, a quadratic is where you've got an x squared term, but the number in front of the x squared is not 1, so we've got 2x squared in this case. So let's remind ourselves how we find the x and the y intercepts of the graph. In general, when you're on the x-axis, y equals 0, and when you're on the y-axis, x is 0. So let's consider when x is 0, because that will give you the y-intercept. So if you do that, you're going to get y is equal to, if you substitute it into this equation here, you're going to get y equals 2 times 0 squared plus 3 times 0 plus 1. Now 2 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0, plus the 1, which is just 1. So we can see when x is 0, y is 1. So that gives you the y-intercept. And now, what about the x-intercepts? Well, when you have an x-intercept, the y value is 0, right? So when y equals 0, this is going to give you the x-intercept. So again, in our equation, we're going to make the y 0. So we've got y 0 equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. And now we have to solve this. Now, this is a quadratic equation. The way we solve it is by first getting 0 on one side, which we have, and then factorising the quadratic. So we've got to factorise this. And the way we do this is we need two numbers that add to give the positive 3. So add to give the positive 3 the number in front of the middle term, the number in front of the x, and they times together to give the first times the last number. So they add together, I'm going to put it on the side, they add together to give the middle number of 3, and they times together to give the first times the last number, so 2 times 1 is 2. Now what are those numbers? Well, what times to give 2 and add to give 3? Well, it's 2 and 1, it's 2 and 1. And then what you do, remember, is that we split the middle term using those two numbers. So we're going to use the 2 and the 1. We're going to split it into plus 2x and plus 1x. We still need the x because there's an x here. 3x is the same as 2x plus 1x, isn't it? If you collect that, you get that. But we still got the things on the front and the end. And then the next step is to look at the first half and the second half and factorise each in turn. So if we do that, if we factorise a 2x squared plus 2x, they have a common factor of 2x. We factorise that out. And 2x times what is 2x squared? Well, it's x. And 2x times what is plus 2x, which is plus 1. Then remember, you leave a space, and then you duplicate the bracket. And then you think, what goes in the gap? Well, what times the x plus 1 gives the x plus 1? Well, it's just plus 1, isn't it? And then remember, the last step is just one of the brackets will just be this bracket you've got here. So one of the brackets will be the x plus 1, and the other bracket will be whatever's outside of the bracket. So this 2x and the plus 1, they're outside the brackets, so that's going to be your other bracket like this. So we've now factorised it, and if you're not particularly confident with that factorisation technique, then do watch our previous video on factorising quadratic equations of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. But now we've got a product of two things is equal to 0. Now, if two numbers multiply together to give 0, then at least one of them has to be 0. If the x plus 1 is 0, so if x plus 1 is 0, then what plus 1 is 0? Well, it's minus 1. Or if it's a 2x plus 1 that's 0, then you can subtract 1 from both sides, and then you divide both sides by 2, and that gives you x is minus half. So if x is minus 1, we saw that would make the y value 0, the y value 0 here. So we get that coordinate, or if x was minus half, that would also make the y value 0. So these are our final solutions. These are the coordinates of the x-intercepts, and that is the coordinate of the y-intercept. We're done.